Hi, and welcome to this live reading from Deleted by Ruth Mitchell, and this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Part 1, Chapter 1. Every night before he goes to bed, Nick erases himself from everyone's memory. It can be lonely having no one remember him, but it's the only way he can accomplish his work. And it's not a bad life. There's incredible freedom in being anonymous. Besides, memories and all the petty relationships people construct around them are a total sham. In truth, each day is like a note with the instructions burn after reading. Life is the burning. The best part. By the time we hit our pillows, most of the day is obliterated. We've forgotten what we ate for breakfast, the exact words of a conversation, the face of a stranger. All that remains are ashes and a few random scraps that won't burn. A look, a taste, a feeling. People hoard these scraps, piece them together, string them into a narrative, and pretend it's life. But it's not. Life, reality, whatever you want to call it, has already gone up in smoke. Nick knows this. He knows that not one of the memories he scans is completely true, but they're his only chance to find her. Last night he didn't sleep. He spent the entire night searching for Lucy, the one person who remembers him, the only mind he hasn't been able to hack. He stands in his living room, surrounded by footage of a freckled girl with messy hair. Discreet lenses in the ceiling project dozens of images on white walls. He watches without sound or context, still catching the key details. This skill is how, even as a college dropout, Nick was able to purchase this oceanfront condo before his 21st birthday. This morning, the view's nothing more than thick fog, like the layer of clouds seen through an airplane window. The memories of those closest to Lucy flicker on the north wall. On the opposite side flash the illicit memories of his clients. A large glass desk near the window reflects and distorts images from both sides. The rest of the room is empty except for some workout equipment, a stationary bike, a weightlifting bench, and a treadmill, each a lonely island in a sea of gray wood flooring. Nick works out while he scans footage. He's nothing if not efficient. He runs on his treadmill, watching another Lucy memory, this one taken from her hot friend, Karen. The two girls sit on a quilt on a sunny scrap of lawn outside the computer science building, waiting. I can't believe it's February. Lucy wears a yellow sundress, her freckled shoulders a little pink with sunburn. This morning my mom sent me pictures of her car buried in snow. I know, right? This perfect weather is freaky, answers Karen. I don't think I'll ever get used to living without seasons, but it does help stalking. It's not stalking, Lucy says with a self-deprecating laugh. It's caring. Nick laughs. Amen, sister. Did I tell you what happened Tuesday? Lucy is too excited to wait for an answer. He sat at that very bench and, drum roll, she plays air drums and hits an air cymbal. Ding! He smiled at me. How do you know he wasn't watching something funny on his specs? Give me some credit. Even if I don't use specs, I can tell when someone is on theirs. He smiled right at me. Congratulations, but I still say you are doing this the hard way. Why don't you sign up for his class? That way you could gawk at him twice a week like the rest of us and get credit for it. Nick can't see Karen in this memory, but after spending a night scanning recollections of Lucy, he has a good idea what her best friend looks like. She's short, well-built, always wears workout clothes, and her white blonde hair is styled in a pixie cut with a blue streak. Can you see me in computer science? Says Lucy. I'd be the only one without specs. Sweetie, you're the only one on campus without specs. That's my point. I don't belong in computer science. I belong in a ratty old armchair reading the thoughts of dead men. While spying on live ones? Something like that. Lucky for you, I'm an excellent stalker and a good friend. I took some photos for you in class today. I'm sending them now with a couple shots from the beach. Karen thinks, Charlotte, send Lucy photos from yesterday taken at La Hala Shores and the ones from class today. With pleasure, a female voice with a slight Boston accent whispers in her earpiece, sending Lucy Campbell 11 photos. Lucy takes her phone out of her backpack. She pauses on the picture of Marco lecturing. Karen leans over to admire it too. You might be right, Lucy downloads the photos. Maybe I should take his class. You have to. He's the best TA. I mean, it's not just that he's a genius and all that. His enthusiasm is contagious, and he remembers everyone by name. Of course he does. He made his fortune with his Good with Names app. And he's not even too old for you. He started college when he was like 15. I know, trust me. I've Googled him plenty. What sort of stalker do you think I am? We've already established that you're not a very good one. No one can truly stalk without specs. You should try mine. They're the latest model. They have telescopic lenses. Cool, maybe I will. Wait, that's him! Marco Hahn's black mop of hair emerges from the building. Karen thinks, Charlotte, zoom. Immediately in her right lens, zoom 2 times appears. Marco's wearing a faded blue Hawaiian shirt, khaki shorts, and frayed flip-flops. Karen's left lens top corner reads, Marco Hahn, 19, single, UCSD grad student, along with a link to his social network page. Both girls let out an audible sigh. What do they see in this dude, thinks Nick. Look at how he dresses. It's all because he's rich. I'm rich. Marco hops on his board and skates across the wide pathway to the edge of the lawn to where they are sitting. Hey, Karen, new specs? He flips up his board. Yeah, I got them last week. Karen stands up to greet him. Lucy remains on the blanket, her eyes fixed on the ground. The afternoon sun illuminates her reddish-brown mane of hair. Marco and Karen ooh and ah over the new specs. Lucy sneaks a look at Marco, who is trying on the new glasses and appears ridiculous in the retro frames, with rhinestones in the wing tips. She stifles a laugh. He looks her way. No specs, huh? She tries to play it cool. Not my thing. Seriously? I don't think I've ever met anyone over 8 without a mind's eye. Tell me about it. Nick hollers at the screen. What is wrong with this girl? If she wore specs, I'd have found her by now. I'm Marco, by the way. He returns Karen's specs and sits down next to Lucy. Lucy. Right. I see you all the time. I bet you do, Karen snickers. Nick laughs too. So, why no specs? He asks. She takes a steadying breath before answering. I like to see the world through my own eyes. I don't want to be distracted. That's ludicrous, said Marco. That's like going around with your eyes closed so you're not distracted by the clouds and the trees and meeting new people. He talks with his hands, pointing to the clouds and trees as he mentions them. My eyes are wide open, and I just met you. She smiles big. You are new. Sure, but you're close to another layer of reality. He waves a hand in front of her face. Specs bring the whole world to you. He pops the iridescent earpiece out of his ear. This baby can hold every recording in the last century as well as every movie made in my lifetime. Why wouldn't you want one? I have funny ideas. She wants to keep her mind pure. I just don't think it's that big of a leap from our thoughts controlling specs to specs controlling our thoughts. Marco laughs outright. We lost that battle long ago. All media directs our thoughts, be it a book or a movie. Doesn't matter if you see that movie in a theater or watch it while you're walking to class, or in class like some of my students. She interrupts. It's the movies that have been really running things in America. Nice, Andy Warhol, he points at her. I love that quote, and it proves my argument. Now, it proves mine. It's harder to separate your thoughts from others when you hear the ideas in your own head. You're hearing my arguments in your head right now. Your brain's translating the sound waves picked up by your ears. What's the difference? He's right, says Karen. The difference is that the businesses who own apps and search engines want to suck up as much of my time as they can. To make money, they need my attention. If I take too much time to think for myself, they won't make money. I don't want specs to crowd out my own thoughts. Heaven forbid. It's obvious you have a fascinating mind. I appreciate your desire to protect it, but specs, used judiciously, only amplify a great mind. That is, she gives him a saucy look, if you don't spend your whole day gaming or binging on TV. Point for Lucy, says Karen. It's a tie, one for Marco and one for you. What I want to know is how you manage your classes without specs, he asks. I remember things. I bet you do, but you'd have to remember a lot. What was once called cheating is now applied knowledge. When I don't know something, I look it up, the old-fashioned way. You don't have... She pulls her iPhone out of her backpack. Yep, vintage. Can I see it? Everything still works? Pretty much. Whenever something breaks, my sister fixes it. She hands him the phone. She's a computer genius. She used to hack for the government. Hey, 2048! He fiddles with the phone with childish delight. I used to play that on my dad's phone on my way to preschool. Can I play it on yours? It's not the same on specs. So you concede? Specs are not superior in all ways? Only if you let me play 2048. He's engrossed by the phone. Hey, nice photo. You're cute in a swimsuit. Don't go through my photos! Lucy grabs her phone. He gives it back to her with a smirk. You know, if you wanted my picture, you could have Googled me. Lucy doesn't answer. She stands up, turns around, and runs. Marco chases after her. Karen laughs. So does Nick. And then he deletes the memory. Chapter 2. A face haunts Marco's mind. A girl with freckles and ponderous eyes. She must have been in his dreams. He considers the face. Why is it so familiar? He sits up in bed, running his hand across the star-patterned quilt. The pastel stars are made of an assortment of cutesy prints. Where did he get this blanket? It doesn't look like something his mom would pick out. Her style is more modern than country cottage. It's not his style either. Not that Marco has much of a style. His apartment is decorated sparsely with hand-me-downs from his parents, all sleek lines and neutral shades. The multicolored quilt does not belong, but he likes it. It makes him feel, well, like that dream. He pictures the face again. Who was she? And then he remembers. Karen's friend. Karen's a whip-smart sophomore in his Tuesday-Thursday class. He's always bumping into Karen on campus, always with her pretty friend who doesn't wear specs. What's her name? He retrieves his mind's eye and specs from his nightstand and puts them on. Morning, Steve. The computer-generated voice replies. Good morning, Marco. It's Thursday, March 31st. It is 57 degrees with thick fog. The marine layers should burn off by 10. Out the window, the morning mist drifts through the trees. White clouds envelop a neighboring apartment building until it's no more than a faint brown rectangle. Hey, Steve, I need to find someone. This is an easy puzzle for Marco, who works as a grad student in the Department of Artificial Intelligence. As a college freshman, he perfected a facial recognition program to help people remember names. His app links names with the faces of people you meet. When you meet someone new, you think into your specs, name please. In a moment, a voice in the earpiece whispers back the individual's name and a tag to remind you how you know this person. The tag could be formal like the company the person works for, or casual like Joe's friend. The newest version of the app keeps track of more details about the person, such as birthdays and anniversaries. It also gives a small talk prompt. Recently returned from a trip to Spain, or important reminders such as owes you $50. If he had a picture of the girl from his dream, he could find her in real time as long as she was in the line of vision of someone wearing specs. Someday, the image in his head might be enough to search for her, but right now, the communication between brain and specs is not that advanced. Marco doesn't know anyone who's found a way to send mental images to a computer. What do you have on Karen Burns? Karen Burns, sophomore at UCSD. Exactly. Still lounging in bed, Marco scans through Karen's pictures on her social networking page. Aha! He's found the girl from his dream, Lucy Campbell from Beaver Falls, Pennsylvania. He browses through her social network page. Her family seems to have visited every national park. He recognizes many of them. His dad likes national parks, too. There she is as a young girl wearing a pink skirt and a bulky life jacket canoeing in the Everglades. At 9, waiting for Old Faithful in Yellowstone, and as a teenager hiking the Appalachian Trail. Marco can't name the color of her hair. Reddish, golden brown, maybe? In most of her photos, her hair is flying wild. In most of the photos, she's wearing a dress. In all of the photos, she's beautiful. There are lots of photos of her with an older sister. The sister has sleek red hair with straight-cut bangs, usually up in a ponytail. The sister's married, Lucy looks about 13 in the wedding photos, and has a baby. There's a picture of Lucy and the baby together on a blanket. Marco takes another look at the photo. The blanket has stars on it. He zooms in. The print on the blue star is the same as the print on the blue star of the quilt on top of him. It's kind of a weird print with miniature ducks wearing sailor hats. What are the chances? He sits up and examines the quilt. He turns over a corner and finds an embroidered red label. To Lucy on your 18th birthday. Made with love, Mom. He drops the corner, bewildered. Taking the quilt back up, he rubs his finger along the bumpy embroidery. A happy thought comes to him. He has to return it. He decides to message this girl, and if that doesn't work, he'll search his database after class. He begins a friend request. Hey, you don't know me, but... Scratch that. This is sort of random, but I have something of yours. No, it has to be perfect. He'll worry about the message later. Time to get ready for the day. He removes his specs as he dresses, but leaves his mind's eye in. He brushes his teeth and makes his bed. His hand lingers on the soft cotton of the quilt. 20 minutes till class, warns Steve. Marco puts on his specs. On the screen of his right lens is a social network page. It looks like he was making a friend request. Who was he requesting? Lucy Campbell? He sees a photo of a freckled girl with reddish gold hair. She seems kind of familiar, but why is he sending her a message? He doesn't have time to worry about it. He puts on his flip-flops by the door, and as he hurries down the steps, he thinks, Steve, lock the door and turn off the lights. He hops on his longboard. Steve, the usual at the campus cafe. A breakfast club with avocado and jalapenos, Steve replies. Ready in 7 minutes. What should I do about this request to Lucy Campbell? Lucy Campbell? Yes, you have an unfinished friend request. Lucy Campbell? Never heard of her. Must be a mistake. As Marco's speed increases, the trees, the people, the buildings all blur together in the fog, and Lucy Campbell is wiped from his memory again.